Hello, everyone, and welcome to the First Decision podcast.
No hope has been lost. It's been a very interesting year. So I took a year intentionally. I took a year out purposefully. I took a year out to dedicate specific aspects of my being to Nigeria. I took a year out to make crucial decisions about Nigeria per se. For one key reason, to get a specific result. And the result I wanted to gain was, can I engage with Nigerians for 1 year, analyze that data, look at the conversation, re-listen to it, engage on it, and extract from it key values that would enable me to make a key decision in view of progress. And I am pleased to say that after a year, I can categorically say that Nigerians want a better country. A majority of the Nigerians out there want a better country. Not just wanting it, they desire a better country. But there might be a problem with ambivalence, there might be a problem with cognitive dissonance, but those are things that can be fixed and will be fixed in view of leadership, especially when we do get leadership right. But anyhow, back to the situation. So I'm back with doing what I do best, deciding your life into brilliance, because that was the whole key purpose of this before. I needed to take the required time out to do what I needed to do for the country, to do what I needed to do for the people, to do what I needed to do for myself, and especially knowing fully well that everything I intended to do for Nigeria would have to come from a decision. So I decided to do it last year, or I would have been making this decision now. But now it's really a case of me making a different decision, because I've already gotten the expected results from that decision I made last February. And don't get me wrong, it's been tough. It's been really tough. I knew a lot of things were going to be affected. I have a point to prove. I have a point to be shared. And at the end, I sincerely hope that you get the point. Especially personal things. I knew a lot of my relationship and engagements with people and family would be affected. I knew for a fact that these things will come back and kind of haunt me in a myriad of ways. I knew all of that, but head on we went into it because we knew, again, the expected result that we were expecting to gain from it was the key, was the pace setter for what needed to happen. So here we are. So the key thing is to talk about decision making and leadership. That's where we are. That's where we are back to. That's what drives me. That's what I'm interested in. And that's what I want to find out from us today about decisions. I always enjoy reading my book. I'm not even going to hide that fact. I listen to my book. I read my book. It guides me. They are my thoughts.
The first decision is really what it's
all about. It guides me because I wrote these things, and majority of the writings I did were divinely inspired, whether you like it or not. It's something that happened to me. The experience I had writing the book, I'm never ever going to have that kind of experience again, because I think that my book is timeless. I think my book is centered around the fact that there is no other book like my book, because it is my book. If there was one like it would not be my book. So the fact that I understand that it's my book, and I know for a fact in this world there's never going to be any book like my book, I have to make it a reality and let people know that, hey, my book is different. The question is, are you going to read it because you think you know me, or because you understand me, or because you think it was inspired? If you think the book was inspired and you read it, then by God, you're going to be blown away by certain things that you would say, how did this guy think about it? But that's not the situation, because we are all unique in our thinking. So I expect you to think about something formidable as well, and will make me go, wow, you thought about that. So reverse it, and then you will see what I mean. So as I was saying, the book is something that I've always wanted to promote, but I've taken my time because last year I had to do this Nigerian thing. build a company, set up a platform, engage on people on a regular basis. All these are things that are time consuming, and it's not like I lacked focus or it's not like they took away my level of focus. It was just a case of me doing things differently, so I focused more on Nigeria. I mean, I had a situation where people were even calling and asking me, man, aren't you going to get tired? Would you drop this stuff? What's all this thing? Nigeria is never going to get better. I said, well, that's not the point. My point is not whether Nigeria is going to get better now or whether anything is going to happen. My point is simple. My point is really to drive home the possibilities of a better version of the country, because you can see this happening to individuals. So if you want a Nigeria to be possible, you have to make yourself possible. And if you're going to be possible, you have to come up with the best version of yourself to make yourself possible in any regard. So what you really need to do is flip that ideology and project it towards Nigeria. And then you realize that, wow, a new version of the country is in the offing anyway. I don't speak much about things I don't know, but what I do know for a fact is that I know I can coach a good game. I know I can talk a good game about decision making, and I know exactly what leadership is. So around those three things, it's easy for me to hold my conversation for a very long time because I can deliver uniquely to the subject matter, looking at it from the lenses of those three things. So from decision making, from leadership, and then from coaching. I can approach any subject matter, and I will give you nuggets on how to progress, on how to achieve specific things using those three attributes which I possess.
Like, share, and follow for more First Decision nuggets.
As I say, you watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habit. Watch your habit, they become your character. And then we watch our character, because that's what defines you. So in view of progress, I've always looked at it from that point of view. How do I look at the character I'm playing in this particular realm of life at this point in time? And being objective with the facts, then I have to lace it down to the fact that I know 100% that I have been given a gift. I've been given a unique gift that I think I owe it to people. That's in view of service. You almost feel obliged to do the things you do because there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's something you can see. There's something you can feel. There's a hope attached to it. And once you have hope attached to a thing, what you don't want to do is give up hope, because it's almost pointless. As they say, as long as you're alive, there's hope. So there's no point giving up on certain things. To be frank about the issue, there's no point in giving up on things at all. If anything, what one needs to do is fight to keep that level of hope alive, because technically that's what one needs to do. So like I did say earlier, so I took my time to really look at things as they are, and then plan for how things would be. That struggle that I went through intentionally has come to fruition, because it has obviously made me a better person. It has made me engage. I have met new people. Now I have new friends. Now I understand the power of positive thinking properly. Now I understand the power of results-based decision making. Now I understand the need to drive forward a purpose. It's not like I didn't understand all of this before, but all of this wasn't looked at from a progressive point of view for the country per se. Prior to that, I was more of the kind that I would criticize a lot. I would talk about things not working. I would, rant and rave about things that were really upsetting me. I would lock down my focus into what has failed. But a decision prompted me to change my whole ideology about the subject matter of Nigeria.
If we have to forge ahead, we have to take it back to the purpose of what the country is, to the purpose of what the citizen is, to the purpose of what really drives us going forward. Because if we have that purpose and have that mindset, when it gets to election day, it will not be a market day transaction. It will now be an election based on the ideology. And that ideology must be based on possibilities.
And I think that was brilliant, because you get to a situation, or you get to a point where you know things evil cannot sustain.
This injustice will not be sustained.
Anything horrible cannot sustain itself. So that means if there's something positive going to come out of this, why don't you start looking at that being positive? I mean, why don't you start looking at the positive side of things, the possibilities of things? And so I locked focus on that, and that has been the story for the last 1 year. It's been such an amazing journey, to be honest with you. You can't believe it. But now I have decided, well, I've done that bit. It's not like we're going to leave Nigeria as it is, but now I'm going to focus more on what I do best, which is talking about decision making, talking about leadership, talking about coaching, and then talking about the need to step up and be possible.
I mean, taking it back to the first decision, it's always a case of identifying that decision that suits you. I mean, you have to look at it from a vantage point of view.
Yeah, this is my conversation going forward, because that has always been the conversation. But I needed to take that time out, like I said. I needed to take that time out to align with specific visions, to align with specific circumstances that will see me bring out this new thing, this new being that I've always known was in there anyway. I just needed to align it with a specific purpose. And I did that relentlessly. It cost me a lot, to be honest. It cost me, like I said, a few friends, a few family members, certain levels of relationship, because at some point I couldn't stand anybody who was supporting a particular individual. So we just stopped talking. So all of this, add all this together, and you realize that at the end it still boils down to a specific decision, the first decision. So going forward, my plan is simple. Like I said, I do enjoy listening to my book and do enjoy reading my book. I think you're going to enjoy some of it as well. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but what is important is me acknowledging the fact that I enjoy it, not because I wrote the book, simply because it has something unique that I think I can share. It has something unique that I think is of value. It has something unique that I think is of purpose. It has something unique that I would dare say, you haven't heard before on the level. Whether you believe that is another ball game, but I'm not here to convince you about that. I'm only here to highlight the fact that, my book, The First Decision, is a book that I think, or rather I know, you haven't listened to before. So the whole point is, let us start with, I don't want to there's no linear approach to decision making in this regard. So I think I'll start from anywhere and pick something that I think is interesting, listen to it, and then talk about it. That way I can analyze it properly so you can understand what I'm talking about. So in this case, I would start with, I'll start with chapter 10. I think that's a good one, chapter 10. I have a copy of the book, The First Decision, and I'll go to chapter 10, which is deciding your hope. In that chapter, I talk about how we should decide specific hopes that we want, how we can relate to hope. And well, let's see how it goes. Let's listen to this for a few minutes, and then we'll discuss about it accordingly.
Chapter 10. Deciding your hope. They say a person needs just 3 things to be truly happy in this world. Someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the First Decision podcast.